My husband slept with his best friend's sister. Not once, not twice. But multiple times. And he even brought her into our home. The bed, the couch. The kitchen counter. He told me he only loved me. Yet his body told a different story. I didn't even have to imagine it. I heard her voice with my own ears. Rufus, when are you going to divorce her? You promised me, baby. Not now. She's still grieving. To our dead daughter. Poor thing. Having a mother like her. No wonder. But don't worry. I'll give you a child soon. I'll get pregnant. I'm counting on it. But tell me the truth. Do you really love her? Your wife, Annette. Yes, I love her. My husband, the man everyone in this city whispered about. The cold, dangerous boss of the Anderson family. Still had the audacity to speak about love. While touching another woman. 13 days. That's all I needed. My immigration papers would be ready by then. So I went to the consulate and filed my application. Hello. I'm here to apply for immigration. I sat at the counter handing over my paperwork. The clerk glanced at me. Stamped everything quickly and slid a receipt across. Your application will be processed in 13 days. Ma'am. Please wait patiently. I nodded and walked out. Behind me, I caught the sound of murmuring. Did I hear right? Mrs. Anderson applied for immigration. She's leaving the country. But Mr. Anderson dotes on her more. Than anyone. What could have happened? Remember that wedding 7 years ago? Biggest event in the city. 3 years ago when she got into that car accident. He gave her half his blood. Last year she went missing for an hour. And he turned the city upside down looking for her. And now she's leaving him. I let out a quiet laugh, the kind that doesn't reach the eyes. Yes, everyone knew how much Rufus doted on me. To the outside world, I was the only woman he cared for. He was ruthless. To everyone else, untouchable. Feared even by his own men. But for me, he was all fireworks. Diamonds and sweet words. I still remember how it started. He saw me once at a party and decided I was it for him. He sent gifts, luxury cars. Even put on a 3-day fireworks show that lit up the whole city. When I casually mentioned I liked chestnut cake. He drove through a snowstorm all night to bring one to me. He was drenched, lips blue from the cold. But the cake was still warm when he pressed it into my hands. And when my parents died in that accident. He abandoned $1 billion deal in New York to rush back to me. He found me shaking, hollow, broken. He pulled me into his arms and whispered. Annette, here. I'll always be by your side. Back then I thought he was my safe place. My mister, right? I gave him my whole heart. But love doesn't stop men like Rufus from straying. 9 months ago, temptation knocked and he answered. His best friend's sister, of all people. He thought I'd never find out. But secrets don't stay buried forever. We had just sent our 2-year-old daughter to heaven. When I saw the truth, when I smelled her perfume on our couch. When I pieced together the lies, I knew I was done. Rufus can play his games. Charm the world and tell me 1,000 sweet lies. But this time I won't stay. I slipped my visa papers into my bag. Flagged a cab. And told the driver to take me to Russell Anderson Estates. The moment I walked into the villa. Something hit me. A strange, heavy smell clung to the air. Sweet and bitter all at once. My stomach twisted and then I saw them. Rufus was standing on a ladder. Pinning decorations to the wall beside him. Maisie Smith smiled like she owned the place. When the door clicked shut behind me. Rufus turned. His hands froze mid-air. Then he came down slowly, carefully. The cold mafia boss everyone feared disappeared in an instant. His eyes softened. His lips curved into that practiced smile that used to melt me. Annette, baby. Why are you dressed so light? You'll catch a cold. Didn't you go out with your friends? Why did you come home so soon? I was planning to surprise you. Surprise. My gaze slid up to his neck. There it was, a fresh hickey. Deep and red, mocking me. My chest squeezed, but I forced myself to blink it away. I said nothing. Maisie's giggle broke the silence. She walked up, swinging her hair. Voice sweet but sharp. Annette. Rufus really dotes on you. He even prepared all this for your anniversary. She pointed to a pile of gifts stacked in the corner. My eyes followed her hand. And that's when I saw it. A wet patch soaking into the fabric of the sofa beneath the gifts. The smell, the mark. The truth. So this was love. He really had sex with her right next to my anniversary presents. The ache in my chest spread like fire. But I kept my lips shut. Rufus, blind as ever, walked over with a velvet box. He opened it, lifted a bracelet and clasped it gently around my wrist. Happy anniversary, sweetheart. I set up a candlelit dinner for us. Just you and me. I shivered and pulled back. No, I don't feel well. Every second near him felt like punishment. He frowned instantly. All concern. All performance. He called private doctors one after another, refusing to rest until they said I was fine. He ordered Matteo, his right-hand man, to fetch health supplements. He even brought me a glass of warm milk, pressing it into my hands until I drank it. That night, exhaustion finally dragged me under. But when I woke in the dark, my throat was dry. I left my room for water and froze. The door across the hall was wide open. Moonlight spilled through the window, lighting up two figures tangled on the bed. Maisie's voice carried in the quiet. That bracelet you gave Annette worth millions, right? I begged you for one and you ignored me. She doesn't even ask. And you hand her the best gift in the world. Rufus's shadow shifted. He pushed her legs from his waist, got up and lit a cigarette. His face was calm, almost bored. I told you already we were going to divorce soon. I love my wife, but for now we keep it a secret. If she finds out, it's over. Maisie climbed onto him naked. I know, but I love you too. I can't help being jealous. Rufus sighed, then reached into his drawer and pulled out a bracelet. The same style as mine, just a different color. He dangled it in front of her like a treat. Don't pout. I bought one for you too. Wear it in private if Annette sees it. We're done. Maisie's face lit up. She kissed him, whispering thanks, still marked with his touch. Then she asked, soft and curious, why are you so scared of her leaving you? Rufus' reply was quick, steady, without hesitation. I'm not really that scared because I have you. But Annette was adored by my grandfather. After I inherit my grandfather's billions. In stocks can finally leave her and marry you. And then he pushed her back down, claiming her again. The bed creaking under their weight. Her moans filled the night air. I pressed my hand against the wall, choking on my sobs, staring at our wedding photo hanging nearby. His smiling face in that picture looked like a cruel joke. 13 days, Rufus. I whispered through tears. I'll be gone. Let's see how crazy you really get. I woke up to shouting outside. The kind that shakes you out of sleep before you're ready. When I opened my door, I saw a woman in the garden next door clutching at a man's shirt. I gave you 10 years of my life. I even had your children, she sobbed. When we got married, you swore you'd love me forever. And now, just a few years later, you're sneaking around with another woman. It was barely sunrise, but plenty of people were already out by the lake, walking, stretching, enjoying the air. Now they all stopped whispering. Whispers rising as the scene unfolded. The man, Tim, someone everyone in the area knew, went pale when he saw the crowd. He yanked the woman inside and snapped at her. What's wrong with you? How many times do I have to tell you no man stays loyal? His words cut like glass. I stood frozen, the echo of them clawing at me. Then a warm hand slid over my ear from behind, shielding me. Don't listen to that nonsense, Annette, Rufus murmured. I didn't turn to him. Tell me, Rufus. Do all men cheat? In the end. He stilled for a moment, then gently turned me around to face him. His dark eyes locked on mine. I can't speak for the rest of the world but me. I'll only ever love you. I searched his face. His perfect, practiced expression. You'll only love me for a lifetime. But a lifetime is so long. He pulled me close. A lifetime is long. Yes. That's why I only want you to fill it. I let out a laugh, but it tasted bitter on my tongue. What if you betray me, Rufus? If I ever betray you, may lightning strike me where I stand. The vow was bold, cruel almost. Because I already knew the truth. His skin reeked of another woman's perfume. After nights he spent away from me, he could touch them, claim them, and still whisper these words as if he meant them. Are you really not afraid that promise might come true? Not at all. No one in this world knows how deep my love runs for you. If you don't believe me, I'll open my chest and show you my heart. If that still doesn't convince you, Annette, I'll give you my life. I thought to myself. If you're so willing to give me your life, why can't you control your desire? Before I could say more, a voice cut in. From the doorway, what are the two of you doing here? We both turned. Maisie stood there, draped in a red dress that clung to her curves, leaning casually against the frame. I felt Rufus stiffen beside me. His brows pulled together. It's not the weekend. Why are you dressed like that? Where are you going? It wasn't the voice of a brother. It was sharper, tinged with something that sounded far too much like jealousy. Maisie noticed. She smiled. Slow and deliberate. Company. Party tonight. I'll find myself a boyfriend there. So don't wait up. Rufus's expression darkened. But Maisie only grinned wider before turning her eyes to me. What about you, Annette? Any plans for today? Rufus didn't let me answer. His fingers slid through mine. Annette and I are heading back to my parents' house. AC's eyes sparkled with something I couldn't name. She gave a polite little nod, said goodbye and walked out, leaving behind the faint scent of her perfume and Rufus. Rufus still hadn't let go of my hand. Half an hour later, Rufus was behind the wheel driving me back to the Andersons. I hated going there. His parents had never warmed to me. Only his grandfather ever did. To them, I was a curse. I'd given birth to a daughter when all they wanted was a son. And when she died, their hatred for me grew sharper, venomous. Every visit. Their eyes cut me down like knives, as if I had stolen their air with my own hands. Office usually avoided bringing me, saying it wasn't worth the stress. But this time, his mother, Mrs. Anderson, wasn't feeling well. As much as I dreaded it, we had to come. When we stepped inside, Mr. Anderson and Mrs. Anderson were smiling, chatting warmly with each other. This second they saw me, their faces turned cold. My chest tightened. I kept my head lowered, pretending I didn't notice. But Rufus did. His voice turned sharp. If you two keep treating Annette like this, then don't expect us to come back again. The room went silent, until Mr. Anderson slammed his hand against the table, making me flinch. Watch your mouth. Are you really saying you'd turn your back on your family for this woman? The dining room of the Anderson estate felt less like a home and more like a mausoleum. The silence following Mr. Anderson's outburst was heavy, suffocating. For this woman. Rufus repeated his father's words, his voice dangerously low. This woman is my wife. And she is the only reason I haven't burned this house to the ground. It sounded heroic. A year ago, I would have wept with gratitude. Now, I just noticed how his hand under the table was texting. I knew, without looking, he was telling Maisie he would be late. Sit down, Rufus, I said softly, my voice devoid of emotion. I picked up my fork. Your father is right. Family is important. Don't fight on my account. Rufus looked at me, surprised by my calmness. He was used to me shrinking away, crying, or begging to leave. My indifference unsettled him. See? Mrs. Anderson sneered, picking at her napkin. At least she knows her place. A hen that can't lay eggs should at least be quiet. I sliced into my steak. It bled onto the white china. 10 days, I thought. Just 10 more days and I never have to hear this voice again. Later that night, as we drove home, Rufus reached for my hand. I'm sorry about them, Annette. Once grandfather's will is executed next month, we won't have to see them ever again. I'll protect you. Next month, I echoed. Yes. The lawyers are finalizing the transfer. Grandfather left everything to me, provided I am happily married to you. The puzzle pieces clicked into place. The realization was cold and sharp. He didn't refuse to divorce me because he loved me. He refused because I was the key to the vault. He was stringing Maisie along with promises of the future, and stringing me along with memories of the past, all to secure his empire. I'm tired, Rufus, I said, pulling my hand away. Let's just go home. The following week became a blur of high society torture. Rufus insisted I attend the annual Anderson charity gala by his side. It was a power move, showing off his obedient wife to the board of directors to prove the marriage was stable. I wore a midnight blue gown, the one Rufus had bought me. It covered the bruises on my soul, if not my body. Maisie was there. Of course she was. She was dressed in shimmering gold, standing too close to the bar, her eyes tracking Rufus like a predator. I went to the restroom to escape the noise. As I was washing my hands, the door swung open. Maisie sauntered in, locking the door behind her. You look tired, Annette, she said, leaning against the sink, checking her lipstick in the mirror. Maybe you should go home. Rufus and I can handle the guests. I dried my hands slowly with a paper towel. You seem very confident for a mistress, Maisie. She laughed, a harsh, brittle sound. Mistress. Oh, honey. I'm the future. You're just the placeholder until the check clears. Rufus told me everything. The will, the money. He says touching you is like touching a corpse. He only does it to keep up appearances. It hurt. It hurt like a physical blow to the gut. But I didn't let my face change. Is that so? I tossed the paper towel into the bin. Then you should be happy, Maisie. If he loves you so much, why are you so threatened by a corpse? I walked past her, but she grabbed my arm. Her nails dug into my skin. Don't get cocky. I'm pregnant. The world stopped for a second. The air left the room. He doesn't know yet, Maisie whispered, her eyes gleaming with malice. I'm going to tell him tonight. On stage. Imagine that. The Anderson heir, finally. I looked at her stomach, then at her eyes. Congratulations, I said flatly. I hope the child has your ambition and Rufus's loyalty. It will be a very dangerous creature. I pulled my arm free and walked out. I didn't cry. The tears were all gone. Maisie didn't announce it on stage. Rufus, ever the strategist, must have intercepted her. But the dynamic in the house changed. Rufus came home later and later. When he was there, he was frantic, buying me gifts, asking me if I was happy, if I felt well. He was terrified I would find out and blow up the inheritance deal before the ink was dry. I bought us tickets to the Maldives, he said one evening, 3 days before my flight. He placed the envelope on the kitchen counter, the same counter where he had sex with her. For next month. Just the two of us. A second honeymoon. That sounds lovely, I lied. I was packing my life away in my head, item by item. Annette, he said, stepping closer, trapping me against the island. I feel like you're drifting away. You're so quiet lately. I'm just grieving, Rufus. You told me to take my time. He relaxed, buying the lie because it was convenient for him. Good. Take your time. I'll always be here. That night, I waited until he was asleep. I crept into his study. I needed to open the safe. I knew the combination, it was the date of our daughter's death. He thought it was sentimental, I knew it was guilt. Inside, I found the cash I needed to survive the first few weeks, and his passport. I took his passport and hid it in the bottom of a box of winter coats in the attic. He wouldn't find it for days. He couldn't chase me if he couldn't fly. The morning of the 13th day arrived with a thunderstorm. The sky was bruising purple and black. It matched my mood. My flight was at 2:00 p.m. Rufus was in a meeting at the Anderson Tower. I had told the staff I was going to the spa for a full day of treatment and that I didn't want to be disturbed. I packed nothing. No clothes, no jewelry, none of the fireworks and diamonds he had given me. I took only the photo of my daughter, my visa, and my new identity papers. I stood in the foyer of the villa one last time. I looked at the spot on the wall where Maisie had leaned, at the couch, at the chandelier. Goodbye, I whispered. Not to Rufus, but to the Annette who had died in this house. I took a taxi to the airport. I didn't look back. At the check-in counter, my heart hammered against my ribs like a trapped bird. Every time a door opened, I expected to see Rufus, flanked by his men, coming to drag me back. Boarding for flight 892 to Zurich, the intercom announced. I walked down the jet bridge. I sat in my seat. I didn't breathe until the wheels left the tarmac. As the plane pierced through the storm clouds and broke into the blinding sunlight above, I finally exhaled. I was gone. Rufus's perspective. Rufus Anderson came home at 6 p.m., carrying a bouquet of white lilies. He felt guilty about Maisie's pregnancy scare, and he wanted to smooth things over with Annette. Annette, he called out. The house was silent. The maid hurried over. Madam is still at the spa, sir. She hasn't returned. Rufus frowned. He called the spa. Mrs. Anderson. No, sir. She cancelled her appointment this morning. A cold prickle of unease started at the base of his neck. He went upstairs. The bedroom was pristine. Too pristine. He opened the closet. Her clothes were all there. The millions of dollars in jewelry were in the safe. She's just out, he muttered, dialing her number. The number you have dialed is no longer in service. The phone slipped from his hand and hit the floor with a crack. He ran to the nightstand. There was a letter. No, not a letter. A document. It was a copy of a DNA test. Subject, Maisie Smith's fetus. Paternity, 0% match to Rufus Anderson. Paternity, 99.9% match to Timothy Black, the gardener. And beneath that, a signed divorce decree, already filed with the courts, waiving all rights to his money. She knew, Rufus whispered. The silence of the room screamed at him. She knew everything. He tore the house apart. He called the airport, the police, his private security. Find her, he screamed into the phone, his voice breaking. Lock down the city. Nobody leaves. Sir, his head of security said, voice trembling. We checked the flight logs. A woman named Jane Doe, with a matching description left on a flight to Switzerland 4 hours ago. She's gone, sir. She's out of our jurisdiction. Rufus sank to his knees in the middle of the room. He looked at the bed where he had betrayed her, the walls that had witnessed his lies. He had thought she was a bird in a cage, singing for him. He hadn't realized that while he was playing games, she had been filing the bars. The city of Zurich was cold, clean, and beautiful. I walked out of the office building, wrapping my trench coat tighter against the wind. I was no longer Annette Anderson. I was Annette Vane, the owner of a boutique art restoration firm. I had healed. It had taken years of therapy, years of waking up screaming, but I had healed. I was alone, but I was free. I hailed a cab. To the opera house, please. Tonight was a special exhibition. I was meeting a client. As I stepped onto the red carpet, flashbulbs went off. I smiled, a real smile, one that reached my eyes. Annette. The voice was a ghost. I froze. The sound of it made my blood run cold, even after 5 years. I turned slowly. Rufus stood there. He looked terrible. The arrogant, handsome mafia boss was gone. In his place was a man who looked 10 years older. His hair was streaked with gray, his cheekbones gaunt. He wore a suit that hung loosely on his frame. He was staring at me as if I were a religious vision. I found you, he rasped, taking a step forward. God, Annette. I looked. I looked everywhere. Security guards stepped closer, sensing the tension, but I held up a hand. I wasn't afraid of him anymore. Hello, Rufus, I said, my voice steady. You look unwell. Without you. He choked on the words. Maisie, it was a lie. The baby wasn't mine. I threw her out the day you left. I haven't touched another woman since. I swear. He reached for my hand. Come back. Please. The money. I don't care about the inheritance. I lost it anyway when you left. I lost everything. I just want you. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. He fell to his knees right there on the red carpet, in front of the press, in front of the elite of Zurich. The feared Rufus Anderson, begging. I love you, Annette. I only ever loved you. I looked down at him. I remembered the hickey on his neck. I remembered the smell of Maisie's perfume. I remembered the dead daughter he used as an excuse. I felt nothing. No hate. No love. Just a profound pity for a man who didn't understand that some things cannot be fixed. Rufus, I said gently. You don't love me. You love the way I made you feel about yourself. You love the reflection of yourself you saw in my eyes. No, that's not true, he cried, tears streaming down his face. Give me a chance. Just one chance. I crouched down so I was eye level with him. Do you remember what you said? That if you ever betrayed me, lightning should strike you. He nodded frantically. The lightning did strike, Rufus, I whispered. It just took 5 years to burn you down. I stood up and turned to the security guard. This man is bothering me. Please remove him. Annette. No. Annette. His screams echoed as the guards dragged him away. He fought them, reaching for me, a desperate, broken thing. I didn't look back. I adjusted my coat, turned toward the warm, golden light of the opera house, and walked inside. The music was starting. And for the first time in a long time, I was ready to listen.